to compute. All right, I'm gonna say all that all over again. Okay, Joe and Jennie McLean were born between, according to the census, between 1775 and 1785. So we believe Joe was born 1775 and Jennie was born 1785, just based on what we found on them in the census. For Jennie was in the census in 1880. According to the census, 1880 and 1870. According to the census, Joe and Jennie, or Jennie's parents were both born in Africa. Jennie was born in Virginia. And based on what we've got, the information we've gotten from the enslavers, descendants that are still here, some of them say that they arrived in America around between 1760 and 1770. So we believe that when they got here, they got these slaves, brought them to Harnett County. According to the 1880 census also, Jennie says that her parents both were born in Africa. So we kind of got a general idea of when Jennie possibly, her parents came to America. We do know that a boat from Nigeria, particularly from the Igbo nation, came to Virginia sometime around 1770. So that's what we're thinking when Joe and Jennie's parents came into America. Again, all of this is, hold on, somebody's trying to get in. All of this is questionable, but we're kind of putting it together piece by piece. And it takes a long time for something like this to actually happen. And for this to actually happen is a miracle in itself. All right. So next slide. So what I did was I created a chart. This is not Joe and Jennie. This is one of Joe and Jennie's daughters, Sarah, which a lot of my people come from. A lot of the people, well, some of the people that's on this call come from Sarah and Sherd. Some people come from, okay, so Sarah and Sherd, we don't know a whole lot about Sherd. We kind of maybe putting some pieces together about Sherd's family based on some DNA matches that we have. We don't know whether Sherd was a McNeil. We don't even find Sherd in any census. We only assume his name was Sherd because most of their children named the child Sherd. And normally, back in those days, that's what they did, a lot of that. They named him after people. So we're still kind of, weary about what his name really is, but we believe that, sometime before 1820, somewhere in there, he was sold. 1830, somewhere in there, he was sold off. And I think he may have gone to Mississippi, Alabama, because that's one of the places that a lot of people went. So we're just still kind of leery about what his real name is. We just assume Sherd. They did have a son named Sherd. I mean, it's a lot of Sherds in this particular family. So that's why we assume. And we did find a death certificate of a child that said Sherd was his daddy. So that's the other reason why we believe his name was Sherd. Well, Sarah and Sherd had all these children. The interesting thing is, so Sarah and Sherd had a son named Gabriel. I came from Gabriel. Gabriel married Caroline McLean. Well, Caroline McLean had a bunch of siblings. It is possible, and Caroline McLean's parents are Stephen and Jane, and then Stephen and Jane's parents are Jim and Lucy. Fortunately for Jim and Lucy, when they were sold to someone, and they actually listed Jim and Lucy's son. They say Jim going to John McLean, son of Jim and Lucy. John going to Jim McLean, son of Jim and Lucy. So we was able to put that whole line together because of that one wheel. All right. So what we believe is that Jim and Lucy and Joe and Jennie, between the four of them, they had to be related. But we don't know. A lot of us come from Jim and Lucy, and then some of us come from Joe and Jennie, but a lot of us are matching each other. So it's really confusing. I think Deanna is on this call. She comes from Jim and Lucy, and it's a few other people that come from Jim and Lucy. However, the strange thing is a lot of those people are matching each other. So it's really confusing as to whether or not they're related or not. But most likely somewhere down the line, they probably are. So all of us basically come from Nigeria. When I did a survey, I guess you call it a survey of most of the people that DNA matches that we have, most of the DNA matches that we have are 30 to 50% Nigerian. So again, that gives a whole lot of stuff, for us to be able to connect with these people. All right, I do have a chart for Joe and Jennie, but it's not finished, so that's why it's not up, but I will finish that and get it to you. This is the magical part. So this guy name is Eni Njuku. I hope I said that right. I was hoping he was going to be able to be on this call, but Eni is a scientist. He's a lot of things. He lives in California and he's traveling right now, so he was not able to be on this call. Well, Eni matches as a third cousin once removed with Donald Ritchie. Anybody know that know our McNeil story know that we have a set of cousins that are white that are from Utah. Well, Don Ritchie, he passed away maybe a year or two ago. Don Ritchie is probably 2 generations. He was very young. I mean, well, he was young. He was in his 70s, I think, or 80s. But Don Ritchie is only like 2, maybe 3 generations back to slavery. His father, his grandfather, great-grandmother was Jane McNeil Holder Ritchie. Okay, Jane McNeil Holder Ritchie is the daughter of Sarah. Who we need to mute? All right, we need to mute somebody. Y'all hold on.
Mr. Grace, okay? Did you actually do the work or were you there when he came in?
Just mute everybody.
Yeah, I got I'm trying to mute everybody without muting myself. Okay, it went down. No, it didn't. All right, there we go. So Don Ritchie, again, he's only 3 generations back to slavery, to 1800. Okay, so when this showed up as a third cousin, once removed, we figured out that whoever Don Ritchie, which is Sarah, not Sarah, but Joe and Jennie, we don't know whether it's Joe or Jennie, we know it's one of them. Whoever his third great-grandparent is, and Don Ritchie's third or fourth great-grandparent is, they got to be siblings because of the once removed. So we figured out that, and whoever that is directly from Nigeria, because this guy is 100% Nigerian. There is another guy that's on that named Oliver Udemba. He's also 100% Nigerian, and he also shows up as a cousin to somebody from the Millie McDougal line. And then there's another guy that matches with our cousin Ray Newton, who lives in Florida. We haven't gotten in contact with him, but he's 99% Nigerian, and he's 1% Cameroon Congo. So he's basically 100% African. He also is from the Igbo tribe. We did send his name to, I think, Eni, and Eni said all of those names are from the Igbo tribe. So that's a really, really great and remarkable story. And anybody that knows anything about genealogy know that it's very difficult to even track past 1870. But if you want to, read those wills and those deeds and those probate records of the slave owners, you could possibly, go further. Well, thanks to our cousin Dina Hill, she has read thousands upon thousands of records probate records and wills and deeds of the enslavers from Harnett County, McLean, McNeil, McDougal, all those. And she's actually been able to download all of them and actually been able to we put them in a database. The database is available on my website on the African American Experience.org. We got to fix some things on it, but it is available. You can actually go and look at it. So Don Ritchie and this guy right here, we know that we are connected to them. So this is his family line. We think that we are connected to, if you can see my mouse, to any Njuku's parents on his father's side. Again, because when the DNA tells you, what side, parent 1, parent 2, or maternal or paternal, it says paternal. So we know that we are possibly connected to this side. We just don't know whether it's on his grandmother or his grandfather's side. So I think we kind of took a chance and put it on his grandmother's side. But we don't know. We put it on our tree just to see what could happen. Again, we don't know. Okay, let me go back to that. Anybody have any questions about what I've said so far? Or comments? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Hey, Desi, I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Desi, thank you so much for this presentation. And my name is James Obuka Omekwe. So I'm from Nigeria.
Yes, I'm going to introduce you in just a second, but go ahead.
Can you hear me well? Or do
Yes,
I have
sir.
to?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do you want me to make just a short comment or say all I want to say? How far do you want to go?
If you can make your short comment, then I'm going to introduce you in just a second.
Okay, so let me just wait until you do the introduction.
Okay, that'd be great.
Go ahead.
All right, so with all that, Dina and I decided when we found out all this information, we just Googled, or Dina Googled the Igbo tribe and trying to find information. Anybody that knows Dina, she's gonna find out what she need to find out. She ain't not gonna play with it. She's gonna find out what she needs to find out. So she looked up all this stuff and found out that they actually have an Igbo village in Virginia. And from what I understand, it's about 4 hours from where I live at now. And so we found the website, we looked it up, and we was able to connect. So I found a phone number and an email, and I called that number, and I was able to talk to 2 gentlemen, and one of them was James. And I told him, what we found, and he was amazed that we were able to connect. And I told him about, how large our family was. And I told him about our DNA reunion we had last weekend, and the number of people that came, and even the number of people that connect to Joe and Jennie. From what we see, Joe and Jennie had 14 kids. All of those kids are probably not Joe and Jennie's kids. They could be some of Joe and Jennie's siblings' kids, but we have DNA to all 14 kids. So we know that they are, and some of these people are showing up, pretty close. There's a lot of double connection going on with a lot of these families. So we know for sure that these people come from Joe and Jennie, or they come from that line. So we're connecting all these people. There is a festival I'll let him talk about that's happening in August in Brunswick, Georgia. And I'm just excited that we've been able to make this connection. And so his name is James. I'm not going to try to say his last name, but he's the president of the Council of the Igbo. Hold on, y'all. Of the Igbo states in America. So what we want to do is we're going to give him the floor to actually talk about, give us some information about the Igbo people, and then he'll talk about the festival and whatever else he wants to say. All right.
Okay. So thank you, Desi, and thanks to everybody here. And thank you, Desi, for this opportunity. Just while you were speaking, you added something that actually gave me a very, very big goosebump. The Eninjoko, the Eni, ENI, and the Njoko family are just about 2, 3, 4 minutes drive from my house, from my village. And a lot of them are here.
Okay.
And if you say, and I know you have researched about in Joko, the parents, the father that came to US back in the 1917, and he was the first vice chancellor of the University of Lagos in Nigeria. And and you can, I think you've seen something about the son who lives in California. Is a research scientist in so many ways, very well accomplished. So,
Yes.
but basically, that's what we are known for. The Igbos, we go and we educate ourselves. But my name came to Desi as the president of the Council of Igbo States in the Americas. So this organization was formed back in probably about 15 years ago. And what we have done in the past and even now is to do what we call reconnection. We are involved in DNA testing, identifying those that are of Igbo descendants, and they will do a reconnection. And this comes from there are 7 states. There are 7 states in Nigeria that are considered key Igbo states, and they're all located in the southeastern part of Nigeria. So those 7 states are the states that came together here and say their name is Council of Igbo States in the Americas. So what do we do? Not only that, we reconnect with our African American brothers and sisters and families that were separated back then, space and time. We also promote the Igbo culture, the language. So we hold festivals every year. And we have been doing that since 2011, 12, 10. And that has been happening in Virginia. And Virginia is where we have the Igbo village. Igbo village was actually built in partnership with Council of Igbo States in the Americas. We did not bring money, but we brought our expertise. We brought our labor. We did everything to help replicate the Igbo village the way it looked back in the 1600s. And the funding was provided by
James, you're gonna have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, we lost audio, James, after you said 1600.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I have just unmuted myself now. So 1600, there is a way the villages in Nigeria, in West Africa, in the Igbo community, those villages looks in a certain way. People started building their villages with their own technology. There may have been no cement. There was no zinc. All this technology we have now, we didn't have it. But the Igbos found a way to build their home, to make it warm, to make it cool, both in, when it is dry or when it is cold. So when it's hot or when it is cold. So that village was replicated at Virginia. And the reason for that replication was when the US Department of Interior and the museum, they were looking for a way to bring up the frontiers, all the different cultures and the people that came from all over the world to make up the frontier of the American culture today. So they identified the Igbos as one of the people that actually made a difference that were brought here back in that 1700s. Even though the Germans or the Spanish, they all came. So right now they have that as a museum. It's called Frontier Culture Museum in Staunton, Virginia. So that museum house artifacts from the Igbos, Nigeria. It housed artifacts from the Germans, the Spanish, the Irish. These are all the people that came to America back in those years that made up the melting pot or the culture of America that we know today, including the American, the Indians, American Indians. So we have had this event there for a very long time, but this year we decided to explore another location that is very, very historical, very strategic in everything that we do, and that is the Igbo landing in St. Simon Island in Georgia. So most of us, we know what happened in Igbo landing and the reason why it is called Igbo landing as a location where our people were brought to be enslaved and they refused to be enslaved. They said they would rather walk back into the water than be enslaved in America. So they all walked back into the water, chanting that they were brought here by water, and the water would take them home. So we were looking at the things, what happened that time, that day, that year, back then. The story has not been told by us. We have not done enough. We have done something, but especially the African Americans community have done a lot. But we thought it's not enough until we start telling our stories, because this was kind of regarded as one of the first rebellion, one of the first march back into the water that our ancestors had when they refused to be enslaved. And that spirit is the same spirit that we still hold now. Most of us don't want anybody to tie us down to be enslaved. We want to be free wherever we are. So that event is coming up on the 11th and the 12th of August. Yeah. So in our attempt to bring in our African American brothers and sisters, I ran into Desi. Actually, Desi made the first call in his research, and he was referred to me. And we have been talking ever since then. I put together a spreadsheet. I put together, developed a spreadsheet, an Excel document, and sent to Desi and asked him if he can help populate that Excel sheet, bring out names and the phone numbers and address of all our brothers and sisters identifying themselves as Igbo brothers and sisters by DNA or by any means, so we can have you, we can give you the recognition that you need, and then we will begin to partner. So in everything that we do, because we need to build up the synergy of the Igbo nation, both here in the US, back in Nigeria, and all over the world. And as you know, Igbos are travelers. We go to so many places. They will tell you, wherever you go and you don't see an Igbo man there, that place is probably not habitable. So, but we want to build up our own nation from here in America to Nigeria to everywhere we find ourselves. And what is the meaning of building our nation? Building our nation is when we reintroduce those cultures, the heritage that has brought Igbos together right from the beginning of life. We like families. We have that family orientation wherever you are, wherever we are. We always organize both as a community and families. We have a long range of families that when we come together, nothing separates us, not even the space or time. Once we identify that we are Igbos and we identify that we are family, in the Igbo culture, it is called Ikwu, IKWU. IKWU. That's the Igbo language. It's called Iku. Iku means a string and string of families. Just like Desi is giving this lecture and the first parents, then all the way down, we call it Iku. You go to the Igbo land, you see a whole village and another village, all bind together by that Iku family. So again, I want to thank you, Desi, for this opportunity. Yesterday was Father's Day, and we couldn't have this meeting. But then today, I thought maybe it will not happen because of what today represents. But then when you called me, it dawned on me also that this is probably the best day for this to happen on the June 10th, 19th, because it also holds a historical value to us as the Igbos, as the African Americans, as Americans, and as Nigerians. So thank you so much, Desi. And thanks to everybody that is here. And we will be sharing the invitation, the information to get to Brunswick in August.
Thank you so much, sir. Anybody have any questions for him or comments?
I'm just sitting here flabbergasted because I've lived in Virginia since 1997. And I run a wine tour business called Fruits and Roots that does nothing but pair Virginia spirits with 18th century history about women and people of color. And how did I not know that this museum was in Staunton, Virginia, which is, an hour and a half from me. And I just got off a call with Rick Murphy. Some of you in genealogy certainly know who he is. And he was talking about America 250 that we're going to be celebrating in 2026 and getting funding to do things that tell our stories, that bring our narrative to light as African Americans. And definitely, I think we would want to do something in relation to this museum. I know I'm going to do it for my tours. I'm just so thankful, James, that you came. And I was wondering if you were one of our cousins, but I think the story is told that you live near where our family is from. Is that what you said?
Yes, the Eni Njoko family is from Ohafia. And I'll shock you with the story, the genealogic story of Ohafia. I am from a village and a clan called Abam, A-B-A-M. And the Njoko family is from Ohafia, O-H-A-F-I-A. These two communities are brothers and sisters. So the ABAM, the founder of ABAM, is the older brother of the founder of Ohafia. So whatever we do,
he could be our cousin, basically.
Exactly. So every single village in Ohafia has my family. Every single village in Abam has Ohafia family. Even today, as we speak, the Ohafia community are having a convention in North Carolina in July. And I am a full member of the Ohafia National Organization, and I have once been the chairman of the convention committee. So we consider ourselves the same community, except the name may be different, but every culture, the language, everything is one. From my house to their house, it's a trek. I mean, now we drive, but back then you will walk from Abam, ABAM, into Ohafia. There is only one, just like you have Virginia and Maryland, or Virginia and DC. That's how those two communities are. So another thing, just to add to your question, then just last month, there was an event at St. Simon Island, and it was organized by the Center for Igbo Studies from the University of Dominica University in Illinois. We partnered the Center for Igbo Studies, the Dominica University in Illinois, and then University of Nigeria in Nsukka, where Njoko also taught as a lecturer back then. So we had this event in commemoration of the 220th anniversary of Igbo landing. A lot of people were there. A lot of people from the Gulagichi community, they performed. And this is an extension of that event that happened in May, but in a different way, in a different style, and probably much bigger.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is, you know, and a lot of people think that I be, you know, because I tell my story everywhere I go. They think that Campbell, you just can't be related to everybody. Well, Campbell, I don't believe what you're saying. But all this is factual information. I mean, it looks, we don't know exactly, but we know there's a connection between all of us and between Nigeria and the Igbo people. So
DNA does not lie, cousin
Dana,
Deb.
yeah, Dana don't lie. That's right.
DNA does not lie. People do.
Yes. So we've been studying it for a while, and I'm grateful that we've been able to uncover all of this information, and we've been able to bring all these people from all. I'm telling you, if you were at that festival last week, there had to be over 150 people there, and probably out of 80% of those people, we didn't really know each other, but. And I was a little worried that they may get a little bored, but when I looked out and looked at all the people, how they was trying to connect and trying to figure out stuff and talk to each other. I mean, they wasn't studying the food. I was waiting on the food. I was like, they're gonna get hungry in a minute and somebody gonna start complaining. But as far as I know, nobody complained. The food hadn't come in yet. And the interesting thing was they just kept talking. They just kept talking. So that was a good thing. So we were able to make those connections from people from all over this country. There were people from everywhere that came together that have roots right here in North Carolina. So because of that, we did make the front page of the Daily Record here in Harnett County. I did put that article out on the internet. I will send it to anybody that didn't see it. I downloaded it and put it in an 11 by 17 paper. So I will send it to you so you can have it. I also will send it to you, James, so you can actually see it. There's going to probably be another article once we, you know, put this information out there about the Nigerian connection to Harnett County. And to me, this is history. This is history, and I want to try to make it really, really, I want to make it big. I want to just, you know, I want somebody to say, hey, what's going on in Harnett County and the connections that they've been able to make and put all these people back together is amazing. So I'm writing and I'm talking to people all over the country to try to make that happen. I want to go on Good Morning America. Maybe we can get on there. I don't know. However, we want to be able to go to the festival in Georgia, Brunswick. I have the flyer. I've posted the flyer on our Facebook page. If anybody want me to email it to me, I will. Please send me your email address and y'all contact information if you haven't already, so I can put it in a spreadsheet, and I will send it to James, and he would directly send you information about what's going on. But I think that we can get enough people from this area to possibly go to take a bus from here, from North Carolina, to go to Brunswick, because I think it's a Friday and a Saturday. So we leave early Friday morning, go to Brunswick, come back late Saturday night. I think we could possibly make that happen. I've already checked into a bus company to see what it would cost for that, and we would just divide the cost amount, how many people ride the bus. Hopefully we can fill it up and go down there and have a good time and come back. James, I want to ask a question though. There's a bunch
Yes.
of people that I know that would not be able to go. Some of my cousins that's out in Utah, I know they won't be able to attend. So they want to know if they could get whatever it is, like certificate that you're going to give everybody that's attending, if they could get one as well. I'm going to try to go live so they can actually see it or as well. So, but that's something we can discuss. But they told me to ask that, so I'm asking that. I know they won't be able to attend. At least some of them.
Okay. If so they already have their DNA testing?
Yes, they had a DNA test. Yes,
Okay.
it's probably about 100+ of them that have taken the test.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think we can work on that. That
Okay.
that would not be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anybody have any other question?
Who do I coordinate with to be able to bring a tour to Staunton, to the museum, to the village?
Oh, okay. So the village museum is being renovated.
Oh, okay.
One of the reasons why we did not, that's not the only reason, but it was factored in. We were told last year that they were going to renovate the museum. They got some money to do some renovation because the mud house that was built back about 10, 11, 12 years ago started rotting out. So they want to use some different kind of prototype to build it in a way that it will last longer. So, but if you just call the Frontier Culture Museum, and they talk to anybody there at the front desk, and the place is always open. If they are open, yes, you can go in and do a tour, ask questions. That would be very easy and simple.
Okay, I plan on going up there myself. And I know a couple of other people want to go as well. Arthur Griffin, I see you put your email. Hold on, let me get this because
Arthur is my cousin, our cousin.
okay. Arthur, can you I'm gonna put my email address in. Can you email that to me? 14@gmail. So I just put my email address in. Please send me your email address. I will add it to the spreadsheet, and I will share the spreadsheet with James so that you can get the information.
Absolutely. Okay, I'll do that.
That is great. I'm just excited. I don't know how y'all. I mean, I'm overly excited.
It's amazing to know not only the heritage but the village. Like, really? Like, we know where we really came from, like exactly where. That's amazing.
And
yeah, as long as it's that in Joko, yes, not even all the way to the house, to where the family lives.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm like ready to get on a plane. Okay.
You go ahead. I ain't. That's too many hours.
And you see, the good thing about what you're doing, Daisy, when we have these events, this festival, we have Igbos in Jamaica, we have Igbos in Haiti, we have Igbos in Trinidad and Tobago, we have Igbos in all over. So in our event last year, we brought in the Jamaican Maroons, even though they are unable to come to US, but we did through Zoom, through video, we were able to bring them into the event, and they played their drums. So this year, we are also planning on streaming them, and there may be some other Igbos, and you know about Haiti. Basically, almost everybody in Haiti or close to are all Igbos. So we have a lot of Haitians that have relocated or gone to Nigeria, and some decided not to come back. So we also want to include people from all over the South American, like the Caribbeans and other places.
This is outstanding.
Fascinating.
Yes, this is Herman McKeith.
She's speaking.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, this is Herman McKeithen. I, like you, Dan, Ms. King, hello. I've traveled to St. Simon Islands multiple times and never knew this existed. So I will definitely be there.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
You
I'm
see,
honored.
this is what is going on. St. Simon Island was once inhabited by almost 100% African Americans, 100%. But after some times, they were being pushed out gradually, one by one. The cost of the houses got higher. Right now, it's probably maybe about 5, 6, or 7% of African Americans living in the island. The houses are now overpriced, some $800,000 to $1 million. The location that we hold so solemn, which is that Igbo landing and point, is now being occupied by a residential building. So we have approached the state of Georgia how we can make that location a sacred location where we can build a monument. Now, I think it was last year or this past election in Georgia, we had our Igbo brother that won election into the House of Assembly in Georgia. When he gave his speech, the first thing he mentioned was the Igbo landing in St. Simon Island. So that was kind of an eye opener to a lot of people that this place exists and the story have not been told. We have students from Morehouse that are making movies now about Igbo landing. They were at the event last month. We had students from Spelman College and Morehouse that came, helped organize all the things that we did. And some of them are writing scripts now because we want to tell the story about the first rebellion.
Yes.
One of the first march that happened when our people refused to be enslaved.
It was in the movies Daughter of the Dust also. If people saw that movie, Daughters of the Dust, they showed Igbo landing in that movie. Cassie Lemos, I think, isn't it, that did Daughters of the Dust?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Dana, did you attend the event that happened at the Montpelier,
I did
in
not.
Virginia?
No, I did not attend that. I know what you're talking about, but no, I didn't.
Okay.
But I'm at Monticello a lot. In fact, and Cousin Art will probably remember this story that I almost got escorted out in the 90s by security for insisting that Thomas Jefferson's kids had kids with Sally Hemings. At that time, they had not embraced that story. Now they have, and I'm actually related to them too, which is a whole nother thing on my grandmother's side. This is my grandfather's side.
Wow.
But no, I did not attend Montpelier, but you know, all of the planters, slaveholders, founding fathers of Virginia have those stories, all of them. There's not one that doesn't have it, including George Washington.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come out one day.
And you know, that story also tied to murder in Montpelier.
Yes.
Those three that killed Ambrose Jefferson were Igbos.
Oh, really?
Yes. So when you research Igbos in Virginia, just Google Igbos in Virginia or murder in Montpelier. They will tell you that one of
something else to research in my life. I'm going to lose my mind.
one of the first thing that the Igbos brought here was how to retaliate. So it was the three Igbos that were in the plantation that fought in a different way. At that time, nobody knew what killed Ambrose Jefferson. But after much investigation at the court, they realized that he was poisoned. And he was poisoned by three Igbos, one male and female that lived in the plantation, and one that came from outside. And they did that to fight back. And what kind of poison did they use? They used leaves and herbs. There was no other poison except the leaves they got from the trees and the forest that they knew and what they came with them.
Just like in Haiti, all the things that they've used in voodoo came from what they learned, what they brought with them from Africa. Of course, they knew how to make those poultices and things that could kill people or make them look zombified. I used to live in Haiti, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. So with that, that's like you said, another little research that we do. All these things we are saying now, it's not, nobody wants to do anybody any harm.
Yeah.
It's our story. It's the history. If we learn from it, we tell people, when you know your story, when you understand your heritage, your culture, your tradition, as a human being, it helps you much better in life. You tend to identify who you are.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been absolutely great, wonderful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to download this video and I'm going to place it on social media so that people that missed it could actually see it and go from there. Again, I did put the flyer in the chat so you can download the flyer. If we have your email, we'll send you the flyer as well. I will be, again, putting this spreadsheet together. I'll be sending it to James and he'll be sending you information as well. If we're interested in taking a bus, because I know a lot of people have made comment that they want to go, then we can work that out from North Carolina, from this area, and see how that work out. If not, then we just go the ones that want to go. Any more questions? Well, there's a lot of people on here, I don't know who they are, but I am thankful that you all were able to come on and witness what we have witnessed on tonight. I am really, really excited. I'm hoping that this opens up a whole new world for all of us so that we can understand exactly where we come from. I know somebody's always saying you can't understand where you're going till you know where you come from. And I'm not sure if Dina is on this call tonight, but worked really hard to try to pull a lot of this stuff together with the DNA and with Wheels and Deeds. So you can thank her about those. All right, I'm done. That's it. More questions? I'm done. We will probably do another one of these Zoom calls next month, so we can kind of get some updates, or just to keep in touch so we'll know what we're doing. I'm not sure where this story is going to go, but I want you all to know, to be prepared. I don't know where this story is going to go, but wherever it goes, I want y'all to be prepared that we're going to go somewhere with this story. All right. Y'all have a great evening. Until next time, as I say on my morning show, the school, make it a great day or not, the choice is yours.
Thank you, Jesse.
Larry Newton.
Thank you so much.
Have a good
Appreciate
night.
it.
Thank you, Jesse.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Night.
Bye-bye.
Dallas Cowboy fan. Good
Yes.
night.
Do we have any people in Dallas?
I'm gonna hang up on that note.